Hello! Let's learn a little bit more about the nominees for the Oscars 2024 in the most important categories. There are 6 films that only got one nomination in these categories. May December by Todd Haynes, nominated for Writing, Original Screenplay, previously nominated for the Palme d'Or at Cannes and also nominated for 4 Golden Globe Awards. The Color Purple by Blitz Bazawule, with Daniel Brooks, nominated for Best Actress in a Supporting Role, previously nominated for 2 BAFTA and 2 Golden Globes.
Shout, take command!
Rustin by George C. Wolfe, with Colman Domingo nominated for Best Actor in a Leading Role, has already been nominated for a BAFTA and a Golden Globe Award. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, with John Williams nominated for Music, Original Score, who at the Oscars alone has received 53 nominations for Best Score, winning 5 times, and 5 nominations for Best Song. El Conde by Pablo Larraín, winner of the Best Screenplay Award at the Venice Film Festival, nominated here for Best Cinematography. And Golda by Guy Nattiv, with Helen Mirren in a wonderful characterization as the former Prime Minister of Israel, Golda Meir, which earned the film a nomination for Best Makeup and Hairstyling. There are 5 films with 2 nominations. 2 films received their 2 nominations for Best Sound and Best Visual Effects. The Creator by Gareth Edwards, director of Rogue One, A Star Wars History and Godzilla, and Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 by Christopher McQuarrie, who also directed other films in the saga such as Mission Impossible Rock Nation and Mission Impossible Fallout. Annette Bening and Jodie Foster give Nyad by Shimi Chin and Elizabeth Chai Vasarhelyi 2 nominations for Best Actress in a Leading Role and Best Actress in a Supporting Role, respectively. Both were also nominated at the Golden Globes. Society of the Snow by Juan Antonio Bayona, winner of 12 Goya Awards from the Spanish Film Academy, is nominated here for Best Makeup and Hairstyling and Best International Feature Film. Past Lives, written and directed by Celine Song, selected in the official competition at the Berlinale 2023 and 3 BAFTA nominations, received only 2 nominations here, but of the very important ones: Best Writing, Original Screenplay, and Best Picture.
It's a trap! Retreat!
Only one film received 3 nominations: Ridley Scott's Napoleon, Production Design, Costume Design, and Visual Effects.
I'm not built like other men.
It is surprising that the film is not nominated for any of the 5 most important awards, especially Best Actor in a Leading Role, Best Picture, and Best Directing.
Yo, Sharonda, girl, you be pregnant again?
4 films have 5 nominations each. American Fiction by Cord Jefferson, known as a screenwriter of series such as Watchmen and The Good Place, surprises in his first work as a director with 2 Golden Globes and 5 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture and Best Writing, Adapted Screenplay.
Son of a bitch, that's another detention!
The Holdovers by Alexander Payne, a film with 2 nominations and a winner at the Golden Globes and 7 BAFTA nominations, has its 2 biggest hopes in the nominations for Best Actor in a Leading Role for Paul Giamatti and Best Picture.
Not cross the Rubicon.
The following 2 films have not only spent the past year battling it out for awards at Europe's biggest international film festivals, but they also share an actress.
I did not kill him.
Sandra Hüller.
That's not the point.
Justine Triet's Anatomy of a Fall won the Palme d'Or at Cannes and has 7 BAFTA nominations and 11 nominations at the César Awards in France, as well as winning 6 European Film Awards and 2 Golden Globe Awards. While Jonathan Glazer's The Zone of Interest won the Grand Prix at Cannes, has 9 BAFTA nominations and 3 Golden Globe Awards nominations. Here, both films will compete with the previous 2 and a few others for the Best Picture Award, but especially in the Best Directing category with the directors of the most nominated films of this edition: Martin Scorsese, Christopher Nolan, and Yorgos Lanthimos.
Hello, I'm Lenny.
Hello, Felicia.
Is something not quite right with Maestro? The film, co-written and directed by Bradley Cooper, selected to participate in the official competition of the Venice Film Festival 2023, received 4 Golden Globe Awards nominations, 7 BAFTA nominations, and has 7 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture and Best Writing, Original Screenplay, but, as can be seen in the IMDb score, the audience is not as enthusiastic as the juries or academies. Well, Barbie is another strange case, because just like Maestro, its 8 nominations are headed by Best Picture and Best Writing, adapted screenplay in this case, but just like Bradley Cooper, Greta Gerwig is left out for the fight for Best Directing. How is it possible that a film can win the Oscar for Best Picture, but not for Best Directing? Did the Best Picture make itself? Did the producers make it? Did they design its narrative? Really? Maybe we should reconsider that there can be 10 films nominated for Best Picture and only 5 for Best Directing. And so we come to the podium, to the 3 films with the most nominations. In third place is Killers of the Flower Moon by Martin Scorsese, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Lily Gladstone. Scorsese has received 10 Oscar nominations for Best Directing, 1 more than Steven Spielberg, making him the most nominated living director, second only to William Wyler with 12 nominations. Having won once for The Departed and 10 nominations for Best Picture, making him third all-time in this category, behind William Wyler and Steven Spielberg, 13 each. Of the 5 main awards, the film is competing for 3: Best Picture, Best Directing, and Best Acting in a Leading Role, Lily Gladstone. In second place is Poor Things by Yorgos Lanthimos with 11 nominations. But who is Yorgos Lanthimos? You may remember his most recent feature film, The Favourite, from 2018, for which he had received 10 Oscar nominations, winning only the one for Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role, Olivia Colman. Before that, Lanthimos won 4 awards at Cannes, including the Jury Prize for The Lobster, 4 European Film Awards, including Film, Director and Comedy for The Favourite, and 3 awards at the Venice Film Festival, including the Grand Special Jury Prize for The Favourite and the Golden Lion last year for Poor Things. Of the 5 main awards, this movie is competing here for 4: Best Picture, Best Directing, and Best Actress in a Leading Role, Emma Stone, and Best Writing Adapted Screenplay, Tony McNamara. And in first place, with 13 nominations, is Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. This puts Nolan in the select second group of films with the most nominations in Oscar history, made up of The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, David Fincher, 13 nominations and 3 wins, The Shape of Water, Guillermo del Toro, 13 nominations and 4 wins, The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, Peter Jackson, 4 wins, Mary Poppins, Robert Stevenson, 5 wins, Chicago, Rob Marshall, 6 wins, Forrest Gump, Robert Zemeckis, 6 wins, Shakespeare in Love, John Maiden, 7 wins, Gone with the Wind, Victor Fleming, 8 wins, and is 1 nomination away from the 3 films with the most nomination in history, 14. All About Eve, Joseph Mankiewicz, 6 wins, La La Land, Damien Chazelle, 6 wins, and Titanic, James Cameron, 11 wins. Christopher Nolan has never won an Oscar for Best Director, despite his films receiving many nominations. 49, with 11 wins, including The Dark Knight, 2 of 8 nominations, Inception, 4 of 8, and Dunkirk, 3 of 8. Of the 5 main awards, Oppenheimer is competing here for 4: Best Picture, Best Directing, Best Actor in a Leading Role, Cillian Murphy, and Best Writing Adapted Screenplay, Christopher Nolan.
What's next?
One.